Hello, Namaste. Welcome back to another interesting topic of our English class. In the last class, we traveled through sea with the help of the chapter Tsunami. And today, I'm going to take you into the sky. So let's go.
Team, we are up in the sky now. Wow, look at that. Amazing. Wow, it's very nice, right? Yes, how beautifully these buildings are arranged. Wow. And its geography is mind-blowing, and banks of the rivers are thickly populated. You can see huge buildings there, and industries are also depending on rivers, and you can see huge buildings on the river banks. Yes, it's amazing, right? Wow, look at that. These scenes show the fact that Earth is covered with water. 70% of our Earth is covered with water. And guys, I think our journey is going to end. Yes.
It's our pleasure to welcome you to New York's LaGuardia Airport. The time is about 1:10.
Wow, what a beautiful and mind-blowing scene it is. How beautifully these buildings are arranged. So guys, today we are going to discuss a beautiful and thought-provoking poem written by Zulfikar Ghose. I'll read the poem and explain the line by line. So you people just listen me carefully and underline the difficult words. So let's start. Yes, geography lesson by Zulfikar Ghose. Before the poem begins, some questions are mentioned here. I'll read that. Can you imagine what your city would look like if you saw it from 10,000 feet above the ground? You just watched how our buildings and our houses and our trees are arranged. How beautifully all these things are arranged in this earth. You just watched. A poet asked, have you ever imagined, can you imagine what your city would look like if you saw it from 10,000 feet above the ground? Next, neatly planned and perfect in proportion like a geometric design, it would strike you as something very different from what it actually is while you are in the thick of it. But only whenever you be reached at the height, then only we can realize those things, how beautifully these buildings and trees and houses are arranged, right? Yes. Then let's begin our poem, Geographic Lesson. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. Seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile, there seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked a facade. unplanned and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. When the jet sprang into the sky, here our poet was actually traveling in an aeroplane or a jet. So he says that when the jet sprang into the sky, just underline the word sprang, it means flew. When his aeroplane flew on the sky, it was clear. It was clear why the city had developed the way it had. He realized, on that time he realized why the city had developed, why it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. He realized the reason behind the development of the city. Seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile, and he was not able to measure the exact height. So he says that seeing it scaled 6 inches to the miles when as he moves up in the sky, and there seemed an inevitability. Please underline that word. Inevitability means unavoidable. So he realized the unavoidable thing, that is about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. He realized that these buildings and houses and trees, everything was orderless. It was arranged not a perfect way, not without style. It's not without style or unplanned. It seems to be an unplanned. So about what on ground had looked haphazard, please underline the word. Haphazard means no plan or orderless. Okay, when he reached up in the sky, he realized that these buildings are arranged orderless or unplanned. And you please note that the first line, when the jet sprang into the sky, that line is repeating in the last line also. When the jet sprang into the sky, the last line also the same line, when the jet sprang into the sky. Here our poet used the poetic device refrain. Actually, refrain is the repetition of line. It is the repetition of a line in a stanza to create a rhyming or musical effect. Here the first line and the last line is repeating. So here the poet used the poetic device refrain. Okay, yes. Then let's move on the second stanza. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys were populated. The logic of geography, that land and water attracted man, was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, when he reached 10,000 feet, when he moves up in the high, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran. It was clear why the country had cities. So then only he realized why the country is divided into different cities, and why the country had cities where the rivers ran, why the valleys were populated. And he realized why importance of rivers, why the valleys were populated. And you all know, man and the living beings depend on water. Soil, besides that river, is very fertile. So that's why human being depends or live besides on the bank of the river, right? Yes. Moreover, the industries need water. For day-to-day life, human being depends water. That's why human beings lived on the bank of a river. So he realized that why the valleys were populated. He understood the reason behind that, why the valleys were populated. The logic of geography, the land and water attracted man, and he realized the logic. Land and water attracted human beings. That's why man lives on the bank of river. So they need water. That's why man and human beings and the animals lived on the bank of water. So he realized that fact, or the logic of geography, that land and water attracted man, was clearly delineated. Please underline the word delineated here means shown when the jet reached 10,000 feet. When he reached 10,000 feet, he realized all these things. And here in this stanza also he used the poetic device refrain. The first line, when the jet reached 10,000 feet, that line is repeating in the last line, when the jet reached 10,000 feet. Okay, let's move on the next stanza. When the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round, and that it had more sea than land. When he reached 6 miles high, he realized, then only he understood, the earth was round. Moreover, you all know our earth was covered, 70% of earth was covered with water. So he realized that fact also. He understood the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. It was covered with water, or 70% of it was covered with water. He realized that had more sea than land. Last stanza. But it was difficult to understand that the men on the earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across the cities and to kill. From that height, it was not clear why. In the last stanza, he shared his thoughts or his questions to us. He realized that the buildings and the trees and the rivers, everything was clearly or perfectly arranged in this earth, and everything was equally perfectly arranged. But he don't know the reason behind the fight between the human beings. He asked, but it was difficult to understand. He was not able to understand the reason behind the fight between human beings. And but that the men on the earth found causes to hate each other. From that height, I realized a lot of things. When he reached 6 miles high, he realized how beautifully these buildings and trees were arranged in this earth, and he realized the reason behind why human beings live or depend on water or river, or how our earth look like. All those things he realized, but he was not able to understand. From that height, he was not able to understand the reason behind the fight between why the human being hate each other. He don't know the reason, and it was difficult to understand that the men on the earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities and to kill. Here the wall here doesn't mean the actual wall, but there is a fixed border between each countries, right? A fixed boundaries are there. He don't know why the people created a separate boundary or wall to build walls across the cities or countries. He don't know why, the reason behind those things, and to kill. Human beings kill each other, they fight each other. He doesn't know the reason behind their fight. From that height, it was not clear why. From that height, he was not able to identify the reason behind that fight. So guys, this is a very simple and thought-provoking poem written by Zulfikar Ghose. I hope you all understood this poem. So thank you guys. See you in the next class.